Welcome to Boomer Bongo Boulevard. I'm Mike Just Mike. Along with me, my brother Ron Just Ron. We're here to talk about Boomer stuff and I guess anything else we want to talk about, Ron, because we're our own bosses here. This is season 3, episode 23, number 113. In case you're keeping up, we need subscribers, so subscribe if you haven't yet. Maybe open up a couple new accounts and subscribe with those too, and we'll see what's going on. But we're
Why
slowly
not?
building. Yeah, no, don't do that. Forget we said that. That's probably breaking some federal law or something like that. Hey, we're talking tonight about it's really nighttime, but we're talking about things we learned in school, and we're talking about, I guess, basically practical things or things that stayed with us or abilities we learned, and not reading, writing, arithmetic. I mean, there's all that, but there's other things too. You want to start us off, Ron? What's something you learned in school that just kind of stuck with you over the years?
Well, out of necessity, I had to come up with a way to memorize things because I was pretty bad at it.
Yep.
Especially because you had to learn so many poems and things like that. And I started out the first way I did it was I went out to my car when I was in high school. I was at night, and I figured if I made it where I couldn't see or look down and cheat, because you kind of fool yourself into thinking you're remembering stuff when you're
Yeah.
reciting something. You'll be looking down at the book and going, doing like Barney Fife and reading it. But not when the lights off and it's all quiet. So I would cut on the interior light and then look at it and go, okay, and try to memorize stuff.
That's
And then
pretty good.
I changed that up a little bit when I got in college, and I started doing it kind of in a different way, which was a lot more efficient. But I started carrying around when I had a big test or something.
Yeah.
I'd make me a bunch of flashcards on note cards
Yeah.
because they would fit in my back pocket. And I'd put like, if it's something you had to write out or whatever, like, for
Oh,
an
yeah.
answer or something. And I would do a question on the front and the answer on the back and just, look at them when I had a few minutes and just get them out and just look at that and try to think of what it was. And I'd flip it over and, just
Oh,
good study habit.
people, people still use
And I
that.
did that. I've done that with other things I've had to learn or memorize. It works.
Sure. People still do that. Students still do that. I live in a university town, and it's fairly common to see students with flashcards, note cards, and that's the real advantage. Like you said,
Mm.
is you feel like you can steal a couple of minutes to study. Just a couple of minutes. You're waiting for somebody, or you're in a doctor's office, and you pull those flashcards out, and you look over them, and of course, you probably learn about 50% of the material while you're making the flashcards.
Yeah, when you're writing them down, because I tend to memorize things that I write down.
Right. And research has shown that's true. Um, the first thing I wrote was how to memorize because we both went to the same high school. We're not going to say where we went, but
Yeah.
a lot of work. They made us work a lot. And we had a lot of papers to do and had a lot of homework. I know that's not supposed to be good, but what it did for me was it made me, like you said, learn ways to study and memorize. And I really wasn't that good at it in high school, but I stayed interested in coming up with ways to learn. And to this day, I pick up on ways to memorize and learn things. There's a book by Jerry Lucas. I think it's just called The Memory Book. Jerry Lucas, the famous basketball player. At one time, he was very famous, and I've read that book, and there are a lot of great YouTube videos that teach you how to memorize things. And what I finally figured out was if I was studying something over a fairly lengthy period of time, maybe an hour or two, like one really complicated question or list or something like that, and I hadn't come up with a good way to remember if I was still messing it up, I would just step away from it and go, there's got to be a better way to memorize this. And I would come up with another way to memorize it. And the new way almost always worked better than just sitting there. Just sitting there, rote memory just doesn't work for me. And Ron, something that goes along with that I wrote down how to memorize. And I wrote down things like multiplication tables.
Yeah.
Which they taught us backwards and forwards in third grade. And what we did was we had about a minute. We had a minute time test, and we had to try to write down the entire multiplication tables, starting with ones, 1 times 1, 1 times 2, to I think we ended with the 12s, 12 times 12. And I wasn't great at it until up about 9. That was
Yeah.
but I learned it. And poems. You ever have to memorize a poem for a
Do
class or
what?
something? Did you ever have to memorize a poem?
Tons of them. And I
And
still know most of them. Like,
yeah,
if, as I'm always quoting this one, like just messing with people, is If by Rudyard Kipling.
yeah. Well, there's stuff like Charge of the Light Brigade, and
Yeah.
different people, depending on the school you went to, and the English teachers and other teachers you had, uh, use different things for different people. But I remember being
Four score
elementary.
and 7 years ago.
Oh, man.
Had to do that one.
What now?
4 score and 7 years ago.
Oh, yeah. I thought you said something
Yeah.
happened 7 years ago, and I'm like, well, you're
Then I
still
remember having to do some kind of one of the speeches. Well, several Shakespeare things, but
right.
one was some kind of the I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him.
Yeah.
That soliloquy, had to do that one, and there's a bunch of stuff like that.
Well, we had to. I remember having to learn the Song of Hiawatha. The whole class would say it together. By the shores of Gitche-Gumee, by the shining big sea waters, stood the wigwam of Nakoma, daughter of the. And none of that really meant anything to me, but I can go back now in my head and say it, and I get that now. And and what's another one besides memorizing that you learned in school? I bet we got the same stuff.
Let's see. I had in here. I got really good at learning how to get out of study hall the entire time I was in junior high and high school, which was quite the achievement at our school. It was me and 3 other people figured it out. We figured out that nobody was really paying that much attention to where we were during the day.
Right.
So it would get to be a certain time of day, and we would just go down. We would just walk down to the gym, which was right across the street in the elementary school, and we would just go in and start playing basketball. And if we were in there practicing basketball, our coach sure as hell didn't care. But we were in there playing basketball, like we were spray painting on the walls.
Yeah, as long as you're not damaging anything.
Yeah.
Go up there on the weekend, break in and play basketball.
Man, we would play basketball for 2 or 3 periods before basketball practice.
Ron,
we didn't
what
have
I learned
classes and stuff.
I figured you'd have this on your list. Typing. Learned how to type in high school. Never have learned.
Yeah.
Never have learned.
Type great.
Oh, they made all typing teachers just were standing there looking over your shoulder, making you do it. And if you had told me before I started typing class that I would actually learn how to type, I would have called you a liar. Because I never learned to play the piano or anything digital like that. And man, right now I learned it so well I can't even tell you which fingers go on which keys because my fingers know. I don't know, but my fingers know. Right? Aren't you the same way?
Yeah, but on keyboards, I don't know if you ever noticed this, but keyboards have a little bump on the home keys.
Oh yeah.
A keyboard does.
So you can find them
people that know that, which hardly anybody does anymore. It's kind of like driving a straight shift. Nobody knows how to do it anymore.
Well, I do. You do. We can do it.
But I learned. I don't know how good the typewriter was that you learned on, but I learned on like an Underwood that I swear to God was off of like maybe a Superman movie from the 40s or something.
Oh yeah,
that real high back.
Right.
And I had to hit those keys so hard.
Yeah.
To make them hit right. That to this day, when I really get to rocking on a keyboard, it's like pow, 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 pow.
You make a lot of noise.
Super hard.
Well, I remember some of the guys. I don't remember the girls doing this. They just had. I think they maybe got better. Honestly, I think the girls got better typewriters. But I can remember some of the guys getting a pillow and bringing it to school and putting it in their chair so you could sit up higher, so you could punch down under the keys harder. I didn't have to do that because I was a little taller than most people, but I remember guys doing that, and they said it helped, and I almost did it, but I didn't. Yeah. But I learned how to type and type pretty well.
I was sitting between 2 girls that were super fast, and believe it or not, it made me even faster.
Yeah, it does. It motivates you when somebody around you's going. But that was something that was taught in school. Now they do keyboarding, and of course kids probably. I don't know about typing on a regular keyboard, but they can kill me with their thumbs. There are going to be some people probably already are some people with some serious arthritis in their thumbs when they hit around 50. They're
Probably.
just gonna from texting.
I got to where over the years that I typed so much, I got where I could type from any position. I mean,
Right,
like sitting down like this and
right.
looking, and looking and reading stuff like that. And, I could be
I
moving around and, it didn't
I
matter.
I have a I learned grammar. The third thing that I learned was grammar.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not in the typical way, not in English class. I rarely learned a lot in English class because I really didn't quite understand what grammar did. But for some stupid reason, I decided to take French when I was in the ninth grade, and I almost failed it. I had a D in it. I've
Yeah.
never quite figured out what was going on, and it just bugged me. So I signed up for French 2, which sounds totally illogical. And to me, I was just mad. Right. I had to go to the teacher and get permission because if you had below a B average, you weren't supposed to be able to take French 2. And she was, she needed people in her class. I didn't know that now, but she couldn't afford to have an empty classroom because they'd get rid of the French teacher. But I know that now from the teacher side of it. But I went in and I told her, I said, I think I can get this if I just take another year. And, I got an A in it the next year. Something hit. But when you have you ever taken another language or studied another language or anything?
Oh, I kind of did at it, and I hated it so much, I just dropped it.
Well,
avoided it afterward.
Well, the thing that what I didn't understand things like in English. I didn't understand what prepositions really did. And I didn't understand the difference between an adverb and an adjective. I could kind of bone up on it for a test or something, but I didn't really learn it. I didn't know it. It didn't mean anything to me. And then I took French for 2 years. And by the way, I took it the third year in college. And in other languages, they don't treat verbs. Every language has its own way of treating verbs and possessives. And when you see it in another language, all of a sudden, it's like, what is it in geometry? 1 point is just a point, but 2 points is a line, no matter how far apart they are.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, I'm not familiar with that thing, but that makes complete sense.
Yeah, and 3 points makes a plane, and and not an airplane, but a plane. And I learned by comparing the two languages, I woke up to what all this stuff was, including I even got better at punctuation because you'd see it in French and you'd see it in English, and your brain naturally compares things, and I just started comparing things, and I would go, oh, that's what an adjective, and I got to where I knew all that stuff. To the end, of course, I ended up teaching English.
It's funny how you inadvertently learn stuff. Like, okay, you made me think about when I took speech in college.
Yeah.
I didn't do that great in speech 1.
Right.
So I decided to do it again, to take the next one and go like, I got to get better at this. And I killed in the second one.
Yeah.
Because it kind of hit and I figured everything out and I got really good at it. But I learned one thing I didn't expect to learn. I didn't expect to become a better writer.
Oh, sure.
By beginning speech. Because now every time I write something from that day forward, I never write anything until I have done an outline.
Sure. Absolutely.
Scratched out an outline to follow over on the side.
That makes
so you can stay focused in, and going from beginning to end or what,
Well,
because it's easy to get off that focus and drift if you don't. It's like building a building or building anything.
Yeah.
You have to have a foundation to build on.
So many people don't know how to that writing something you're going to say is different than writing something that's going to be read. If you write something that's going to be read, you don't have to worry about how it's going to roll off the tongue. If you're going to say it, you got to worry. But when you're writing a speech, you don't have to worry about spelling, which is amazing to me that it doesn't occur to people. Because I worked in radio forever and for over 30 years, and people would call you, tell you their name. Well, this is so and so, and I'd say, how do you say that? And da da da, and then they'd spell. You don't need to spell it. I don't want it spelled. I'm going to write it phonetically. If I see it spelling, it's going to mess me up. I'm going to write I'm gonna write or sounds like. I'm gonna write above it sounds like Animal Tales or something like that, and that tells me how to accent. And if you figure that stuff out, if you're working in written
Well, I've
written
never
and
written
oral
speeches out
oral.
either. After that, I stopped writing speeches out. I mean, like when we do this stuff, of
Oh
course,
yeah,
like it's not anything, no great shakes or anything, but I never
that's
write
amazing.
anything out unless it's some quote that I want to get exactly right.
Mhm.
Other than that, I've just got prompt words. That's it.
Have you got
But
another thing you learned in school? I got three. And
yeah,
what's your last?
actually, yeah, it was something I used to do. I got to where, of course, it's natural, I'm just going to sit in the back or whatever. I got to where I used, reverse psychology, which in psychology, I got where I was really good at that stuff too later
Right.
on. But I learned if I sat up front, not only would I hear stuff better and kind of naturally pay more attention, I could get away with way more crap up front
No,
than I
sure,
ever could in the back.
sure.
Because I would not only cut up, I would cut up with the teacher, which apparently is fine.
It's okay. Yeah,
you know?
cutting up with the teacher's way
Well, if
better.
I had somebody to cut up with, I was good.
Yeah. Where'd you like to sit? Like the middle? Like the very
Oh, that's
middle?
the dead center, right in front of them, man.
See, I like to sit on the front row against the wall on one side or the other. I like to be
Yeah,
able to see the whole class, but still have kind of a little space of my own. So like I didn't have
yeah,
anybody right behind me, and
yeah.
that's where I always like to sit. And I think people that deep down enjoy school, which I did, have a favorite place to sit. And
Yeah.
people that hate school don't give any thought to it. They don't even think, well, I hate it. Maybe I can figure out a way. I think that's how it goes. It's really not pleasant in a lot of ways, but you're there. You got to be there. So try to figure out a way to make it better. And that's what I always did. Do you have a song
I
of the
worked on my
week?
comic timing that way too, because I could get one in there,
A singer, a
or add
singer
a little
from the middle.
something, that was funny.
Sure,
I got off on that, like saying something in the class,
sure.
was like and laughing, and
Do you
teachers
have a
laughing and stuff.
Do you have
So
a
I
song
always
of the week,
enjoyed that.
Ron? Got a song of the week?
Nah.
Not really. Look,
Oh, why not? I'll do one off the top of my head.
okay.
Don't know much about history.
Oh, there we
Don't
go.
know much biology.
Now, who was that?
Don't know much about a science book.
James Taylor did a
Don't know
version of
much
that.
about the French I took.
But I do know that I love
That
you.
was Sam Cooke.
No, Sam Cooke. Okay. But James Taylor redid that later. And I'm sure it's
Yeah,
been covered by some other people. I
yeah,
took it a little more seriously than you, although mine is not about, mine's just a random song because I thought, anybody that's paying attention to us might be interested in looking at this up because I ran across it and I hadn't heard it in years. And it's a great song by a great artist who just died a couple of years ago at 76, Melanie. And her full name was Melanie Safka, or at least that was
yeah,
her name she was born with. She ended up with a hyphenated last name because she got married and stayed married really her whole life.
yeah.
But Melanie, and her biggest hit, number one in the United States in 1971, December, and went over into 72 and was number one for a couple of weeks into 1972, was a song called Brand New Key.
Yeah,
I got a brand new pair of roller skates. Sometimes it's called the roller skate song. You
yeah.
got a brand new key. I think that we should get together. Da 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 da. And great vocal. And then you think, well, that's a novelty song. She's a one-hit wonder. Nope, not at all. She had another song. By the way, Brand New Key was, like I said, number one, Melanie Safka. And then she had a song called Lay Down, which was kind of a protest song. And
Yeah.
Let the White Bird Smile Up on the One Standing Brown. One of the best vocals you'll ever hear. And you need to look up Melanie and look up
I remember
live.
Melanie.
Put in these songs, Brand New Key, Lay Down, and another one, oh, What Have They Done to My Song, which is one of the saddest, happy sounding songs I've ever heard in my life. And look her up, but find her doing a live version of Lay Down somewhere because there's quite a few versions of it. Her vocals are unbelievable. Just a really tremendous singer, and had kids and had a full life, and just a really super singer that I think everybody needs to get familiar with if they aren't already. You're going to have to go back in time a little bit, but there's some pretty good music back in time. Got any final words about anything, Ron?
No, I'm good.
You good? I'm good too. That's it for Boomer Bongo Boulevard. Hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to sign up. What is it? Register? What do you call
Subscribe.
it?
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Golly, I remembered it at first. I can never remember subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. We can use the paying attention, and then kind of find us every week. We're usually out roughly once a week, and got some shorts that are pretty interesting to listen to. And have a good time, and leave us a note, leave us a message. Tell us you hate us, even if that's what. Yeah, tell us how we can improve. And
Yeah.
don't say get new stuffed animals because I like these. But other than that, I'm willing to do nearly anything to improve. We'll see you folks next time around on Boomer Bongo Boulevard.